Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Madison Charlton from MLC Tech, and now today we're going to be talking about TSMC's 2nm process, which has attracted some surprising clients for its new process node. Now of course the main one being Apple that we already know about, but the one surprising client that I didn't expect to see on this list is Intel of all people, finally jumping ship from their own fabrication services over to TSMC. So sit back and relax as we take a look into TSMC's 2nm process and what Intel switching to this process node means for its CPUs later down the line as well. Now this comes courtesy from a report from Taiwan Economic Daily, which reports TSMC's first batch of 2nm chips are expected to come into production by 2025, have garnered some interest from some high-profile clients, that being of course Apple for its A and M line of SoCs. For a while Apple has been the exclusive customer of TSMC for its latest process technology, but it is said that the firm has managed to reserve a small portion of its 2nm supply for its next generation of its iPhones, which we'll likely see with the debut of the iPhone 17 Pro, which is about 2 years away from now. And this is expected to be the latest and greatest of the A-series SoCs, given that the company sticks to its track record of its naming convention, which I'm sure it will for the foreseeable future. But moving away from Apple, which was already an expected client for TSMC, it has been reported that Intel of all people, Team Blue, might be sliding into the list of TSMC's 2nm clients. And it's expected that Intel will be expected to utilise this manufacturing technology on its future Nova Lake CPU lineups. Now there hasn't been too much talk in the industry as what Nova Lake could be, but there hasn't been too much talk on Nova Lake as this is still a few years away. The only sort of information we have on Nova Lake is that came from a hardware info leak which added support for the lineup's integrated graphics, which is either going to be an upgraded version of the XE3 LPG, or Intel might switch over to its full line of Druid architecture for C CPUs and APUs going forward. But apparently this is rumoured to be the biggest architectural uplift in Intel's history, even bigger than when they switched to the core architecture itself all those years ago. But it's not to be expected, as the CPU performance is rumoured to be more than over 50% of Lunar Lake chips, which is not a surprise considering Intel are ditching their own fabrication service to use TSMC's for the future of its latest generation of CPUs, which I think is absolutely crazy to see out there. And of course it's expected this is going to be a massive uplift in performance as they are finally switching over to TSMC. As quite frankly, Intel's foundry services are still struggling very much to this day, and they are still lacking when it comes to the cutting edge of processors. And for them to stay competitive in the next generation of markets, they need to for now adopt a more mature semiconductor supplier. As quite frankly, Intel are still ironing out a lot of issues that they're having with their fabrication services, and they're expected to bring new fabrications online in the coming years. But in the meantime, Intel knows that they need to stay ahead of the market and not let themselves be relegated to the past. Which with the current roadmap for their new fabrication foundry services to come online, 3 years in technology is an awful long time, so they really need to stay ahead of the curve in order to remain relevant, so when they finally bring the new fabrication services online, then they've not fallen behind in the market and popularity. And quite frankly, if they allow themselves to fall behind that much by the time the new process technology has come online, then everyone's just going to think of Intel as the laughingstock of the semiconductor world. No one's going to take them seriously, even if they have made these significant performances. 3 years is a long time in tech, and if you fall behind significantly in those 3 years, that could either make or break the direction of your company. Now that's not to say Intel's foundry services is in a complete state of disarray, especially when the firm itself announced a collaboration with Taiwan's second largest foundry, that being UMC, but for now Intel foundry services haven't managed to gain the confidence it needs for its upcoming process technology. Though Intel are still claiming that the superior 18A process node will come into production by the second quarter of 2024, the fact that Intel has opted for TSMC's 2nm process for its CPU architecture does raise some eyebrows when it comes to Intel's approach of its semiconductor division. But of course it's too soon to jump to conclusion and details on the performance and the current state of Intel foundry services. But like I mentioned earlier, they're currently in the process of bringing new fabrication services online, so they definitely need to stay ahead in the meantime while they get their scale and production of their foundry services to a much higher level and sustainable level. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on this story in the comments down below. What do you think of Intel ditching its own fabrication services and opting to use TSMC for its 2026 line of CPUs? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Anyway, I have been Madison Jollison from MLC Tech. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it in any way, shape or form, make sure to give this video a like and maybe subscribe for more content like this in the future. Anyway, thank you once again for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Goodbye for now.